All right. Good morning, all, and thanks for the skill and luck for giving me my new tagline. We're live. We are House Edge Live. How are we all doing today? It's Thursday. Kind of a big day for us in the house today. Little personal note to start the show with. I got to stop the show right at 8 o'clock today because my dog, my older dog Rosie, who you have seen on camera a long time ago. She's the brown one. She's the half lab, half boxer. Is going in for surgery today. Nothing major, but it's interesting. She's had this weird thing, like her one paw has always been red, right? She's been licking the crap out of her paw for 7 years now. We've tried everything. Injections and Cytopoint and all this allergy medications and all these specialists. Probably spent $5,000 on that damn foot, right? It actually started bleeding a few days ago, like a few weeks ago. And she has this like thing in the middle of her paw. Like it's like they found like a little tiny, whatever you want to call it, like a little deposit back there in the middle of her paw that's making it that now they figured, oh, there's something in there that's probably 10 years old. She probably stepped on something and it got in there and it's been jacked up. So she's going in today. We're going to get they're going to open it up, pull out whatever's in there, and hopefully that will stop it. She can't walk on pavement anymore. She can walk on grass, but on pavement she limps. She licks it all the time. Anyway, we think we finally nailed it. They're going to go in there and take out whatever growth or deposit or calcium, whatever it is in there, pull it out, and that should hopefully fix her foot. Cross your fingers. She's 10 years old, and she acts like a puppy. So I'd love to see this thing fixed. Let's get it done. Jen says end of tax season. Thank God, right? Yeah, it's for all the people who did the delayed taxes. Is that what you're saying? For everybody who pushed it off. All right. And I think it was it, right? The other personal note I wanted to make, I forget what it was now. It'll come to me as we go through the show here. But that was the big one today. We got Rosie going to the doctor. I'm very excited for her. Hopefully this fixes it. All right, let's jump into the show here. This is going to be a non-gambling show, so this is going to be more and more podcasty like. But I want to get your opinions on some stuff. All right. Before we do, always a reminder: whatever you hear me talk about today, whatever you hear anybody else on any other YouTube channel talk about, filter it through your version of the bridge. How it is your bankroll, your risk profile, your ability to identify stuff, your discipline, your goals, your emotions. Filter whatever you watch on YouTube through that lens, because otherwise you're going to get sucked into some bullshit from somebody. All right. So here we go. Today, no bullshit though. We're going to talk about real stuff. And I think, oh look, Chris is here. Jen's here. This is so awesome. The gang is back in town. David at Casino Quest has done 2 or 3 episodes on this topic, right? One the other day, which was fantastic. He gave the kind of the history of Vegas through the eyes of the Golden Gate, right? And the biggest thing he talked about in that show was how Vegas has lost its soul, which I think is a great way to put it. And I think casinos in general have kind of lost their soul, right? And I'm going to give my opinion on this whole thing. And again, this is me. That's David as a dealer and as part of Vegas culture. This is going to be me as a player, and I want you guys, all 12 of you that are here watching live in chat, to put your comments out now. I'm going to capture all this stuff, by the way. Put your comments out there about how you think Vegas has broken or failed you, right? Duracell, corporate greed, right? Here's what I say, right? Vegas is broken if you're one of us. Now, here's the dirty little secret, right? Vegas is empty. David talks about all the time, right? Hotels are 60% full. The casino floors feel dead, blah, blah, blah. But they're still showing profits. Why? Because part of it is this, right? Part of it is this. The resort fees, the parking fees, stuff that was free, no longer free. Can't get a bottle of water, right? You can't get a free drink at a slot machine unless you play there long enough, because now the little light comes on and says you're now eligible for a drink, right? The comps suck. They're giving the middle finger to all of us, right? High table limits. And again, here's the thing, and David said this really good. They don't want you anymore. They don't want the $500 player. We used to, the swath, the millions of people who came with their $500 to gamble and have fun for a weekend and have an experience, they don't care. They don't care. We don't make enough money. We don't bring enough money into them, right? To us, we're the commodity, right? We're there, they think, for the experience of being in Vegas, right? So the resort fees, the parking, the shitty, all that stuff, right? All that pays for the land, right? We're paying the bills. We're keeping Like the $500 guys are just kind of keeping the lights on. That's how I see it, right? The whales, the people who they really want, right? The big events, the boxing, the Super Bowl, these people that are paying F1, right? They are paying, that's the profit. We're just there to sort of like pay the electric bill. And they want the whales. That's all they want. Look at the strip now, right? Do you find regular people on the strip anymore or in the casinos? Really, you don't, right? And even down Fremont Street, I can't even go to Fremont Street. Fremont Street is a fucking disaster to me. Like it's so broken down there. You talk about a part of town that's lost its soul. Fremont Street has completely lost its fucking soul. It's a shit show 24 hours a day. My mom is in Vegas right now, actually. She's in there. She's out there with her friend for a couple of days. And she's like, oh my God, like, where are you supposed to go? Like, what do you do as a regular person in town? You don't go to Fremont Street because there's crazy people everywhere. Number one, it's just topless people and drinking and young people with a lot of money, right? All the tech dudes, the tech bros are down there spending their $500,000 paychecks on dumb shit. That's what Vegas has turned into. There is no more soul. There's no more destinations, right? It used to be, to me, a destination. Remember when you would go and you had the themed casinos? You had like, the TI had the pirate thing, and the Treasure Island had the whatever, and the Hard Rock was. I would go to the Vegas and make a point to go to the Hard Rock because they used to change out the stuff. They had different guitars, different outfits. There was always somebody famous there. That was a place to go. It's gone, man. All that stuff is gone. They're all just, like you say, Duracell, just corporate greed bullshit, right? And it's if you don't have, really, it costs you 10 grand to show up. By the time you fly in, pay for the 5 nights of your room with the parking, with the $17 water, with the expensive food that you don't get comp for anymore, you're 10 grand before you even show up, right? And there's no experience. Remember the experience of Vegas was special? It's gone. There's no more themes. The destination casinos are gone. Gambling now, to me, is secondary, right? You're paying $500. Look at us. I'll give you the example. We're doing the Craps for the Cure raffle thing, right? Where K9 Comp has put up tickets to Absinthe, the show at Caesars. $600 fucking bucks per ticket to see a show. Is that ridiculous? Right? That used to be a thing you could go. We used to go to Vegas, my wife and I, every Thanksgiving. We go for 4 days. We would go from Wednesday to Saturday, right? That was how we used to do it. And we would see a show every night. We go to 4 shows. We would comedy, a magic, some Cirque du Soleil thing, whatever. And we'd be in and out of town for $2K. 2 people, 4 nights, including gambling. You can't do it anymore, right? Everything is priced here because, again, the small potatoes gambler doesn't matter anymore, right? And the thing is, and David made this point, I think, really well, the heart and soul of the town is different now. It's all LED lights. It's all young and rich. It's all, everything's expensive and you got to be somebody to be there and experience it, right? That's what Vegas has turned. And frankly, Caesars, Harrah's, the Aria, Cosmo, they are all the same. You walk into the casinos, there's no difference. They're soulless money sucks. Every single one of them is the exact same. As a gambler, I don't choose any of them because of what's there. I choose to play where I can get a decent price on a room, right? That's what it's turned into. Not one casino in that town deserves anybody's attention because of it and what it brings. None of them, not any of them. Maybe, I'll give you a maybe on the Circa. That's the maybe because they have the cool stadium pool. But again, you can't go to the pool. You can't just go to Circa and go to the fucking pool. You got to be staying at Circa, or you got to pay $400 to get into the pool. And if you're at the pool, you have to guarantee them X number of dollars, depending on where you're sitting, of drinks. So it's $150 to get in if you're staying there. It's $400 if you're not staying there. You get a cabana, you got to put $5,000 in drinks up. That's how the Circa works, right? You can't just go there. It's a great experience, but not for you. It's not for you. It's for the tech bros. That's what it's for, right? All this has, for me to say, gamblers, the regular folks have become secondary to me, right? Well, they're good tickets. They're good tickets for sure. But here's what I say, and you say recommending your rooms with a host, right? Again, David has said this before too. If you have a host, great. But Vegas is trying to push the hosts out. They don't want the host anymore. They're trying to do it all in house, right? The worm is turning over there, right? It's very hard to exist in that town as a regular person. I remember the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s where you could actually go there and enjoy it. It's a cool shirt, right, Jen? Yeah. Anyway, that's where I see it. It's not for us. Vegas is no longer for the regular person, and that's a shame because it used to be. It used to be a place to go and experience something completely different and have a chance to win it all, right? That was what it used to be. Now you go there and you know you're going to be paying out the ass just to exist in that town, and the gambling is no longer for you. The tables aren't fair. The slots aren't fair. Everything is getting worse and worse and worse and worse because they don't care about you. You're there literally to pay the bills. It's such horseshit. Yeah, now we can talk about that. The local casinos have it, right? The station casinos that are on the outside of town have it, right? There are other places to go besides the touristy areas, but even then you got to make a trip, right? So yeah, tell Nick those tables just suck. Let's build a new Vegas, right? Wouldn't it be great? What about building a Vegas inside of Vegas though, right? What's to be done about it? Like, what would a new Vegas experience look like to you? And I did a show. Remember this? Remember the show I did like probably 4 years ago, back when I was doing the Dice Influence series. I did those like 10 series of Dice Influence shows, and I said, at some point, I'm going to make Casino John, right? And Casino John is going to have edgeless craps, and I'm still going to make money, right? We had that whole funny joke about that, right? But revisit the topic with me. And in chat, Skill says, build a new Vegas elsewhere. 510 Hawaiian, what's the next Vegas, right? Jen, of course, talking about Ellis. Ellis kind of has it right in some respects, right? What would you do, right? What does your bring back the everyman, says Tom Marco, right? That's what Ellis does for sure, right? What does the perfect Vegas experience look like to you? What is that secret sauce of money, affordability, vacation, experience, good gambling, good entertainment, full immersion? What does it look like to you if you were to start over and say, bam, here's what I want to experience as a regular person looking for a fun weekend and not having to drop, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 just to show up? What would it look like for you? What is the perfect thing? And I can tell you, I put a lot of thought into it, right? I mean, Casino John, we joke about it, right? But things that matter to me, again, these are things that matter to me, right? I want a casino where table games are dominant, right? Where there's not just one craps table and two roulette tables, right? I want a lot of table games. I want them to be fair. 3-2 blackjack with normal rules, hand shuffle games. I want craps where it pays 15-1, not 15-4-1. I want single zero and double zero roulette as options, a high limit roulette and a regular guy roulette, right? I want sports in a stadium setting. I've always had this dream of like, picture a sports book right now where you're kind of all flat, right? It's like rows and then the screens are in front of you. Imagine a sports book that's round. And in the middle of the sports book is like a big jumbotron. And you're sitting around it. And it's levels, right? It's 5-6 levels, maybe 10 levels high. And you're kind of around and you're watching each other as well as the screen, like a hockey stadium, right? Picture that. And behind you is a row of tables and a row of slot machines. So on every floor of that casino, you can turn around out of your seat and go play some craps or hit the slots, right? Or the pit then becomes kind of surrounding the sports thing. That's kind of a cool idea, right? Maybe at your table or at your chair while you're watching the sports, you got a computer screen that you can play stadium craps with the stadium people. Maybe you've got, the camera on top of the roulette table and you're betting on the live roulette spins, right? Maybe you're able to watch a game in a stadium environment and play from where you're sitting the whole casino through. Maybe it's like people bringing you food while you're sitting there like in a real stadium, right? Maybe the drinks are actually free if you're gambling. And not when you hit a limit and you've gambled enough to get a free drink, but they're just fucking free. Maybe a water bottle is free too inside of a casino, not just when you're gambling and the lady comes by, right? Maybe your room has a coffee pot again. God forbid you get some free freaking coffee in the morning, right? Maybe the water doesn't cost $17. Maybe the internet and parking are free. Maybe the food's actually good and you can afford it. Maybe there's comps available to you. Maybe when you book your room, it comes with breakfast. How about that? Wake up and get refreshed and recharged and be able to spend your day at the experience at the casino. What if it was creator friendly? What if the casinos allowed by default creators a way to film stuff? What if there was fixed cameras around the tables and around the slots that a creator could, with some kind of access code, plug their computer into or their laptop into? Maybe there's some kind of a wireless, and I know there is, a wireless way to connect into the camera feed. So they control the feed, which means the people are out of the shot, which is one of their big problems. They can also control the audio so that the music is not in the shot. You just go, here's my creator code, and now I get the camera feed to my device and I can stream live. What about that? What about something where you could actually film live? What about the casino having its own live feed all the time, where you can always watch as its own creator experience? What if the casino had a couple of studios in it where shows like mine could go live? Maybe the studio's open, and when I'm in town, I can broadcast from the studio on the casino floor. And when somebody else is in town, they can broadcast their show from there too. What if it was a creator-friendly, awesome experience? What if there was training rooms like Casino Quest used to be? A craps table, a roulette table, a black, where dealers were in there. Maybe that's where the dealers learn. Maybe that's where the new green dealers go. They go to the trading room and they deal to players who are learning how to play the games on a side room before they go out there and burn their fucking paycheck on a real table. Dealers get better, players get better, the floor experience improves. Wouldn't that be amazing if that was part of your experience in Casino John, right? This is what I want. I want somebody to come and have a great experience. And again, my theme would be the sports. I want that stadium experience for the sports fan or a concert fan or a fight fan, right? Your casino might have a lot of the same things, but a different seating arrangement, right? What does your casino look like? And to somebody else's point, where would it be? I think Vegas needs to kind of be rebuilt from the ground up. I think some of these small, like the person who bought Casino Royale next to Harrah's can regenerate that, right? Harrah's different experience, right? Maybe like when the new Cosmo comes, right? When the Cosmo gets, I think it got bought by somebody. When that thing regenerates itself, it should regenerate in a way that's unique, not another of the same horse shit that we're seeing now. Every casino should be a unique experience. They should have a theme. They should have a reason to be there. I want to go to Vegas, frankly, and stay at my casino the whole time. You should be thinking about, why do I want to leave here? This is so great. Unless you want to go to a different experience at a different place. Right now, you can't. Paris feels different. But is it different? Right? Is there anything there that's actually Parisian other than the $15 croissants and the awesome coffee? Like, that's what I want to see is a reason to be in town, which we've kind of lost. And I think catering to the small potatoes, like, again, the small potatoes people, they can't afford the parking and the water and the why ruin that experience for us? Let the whales take 1% of what the whales are losing and make that pay the rent. Let the whales pay for my fucking parking. How about that? How about we take the profit from the bigger guys, which are much larger in size, and use that to fund all the stuff so that the regular person can come, have their experience, lose their paycheck, which is fine, because that's what we all do, but enjoy the experience and bring the town back from what it is now. I think Vegas doesn't care. I think Vegas now is too happy counting the big fat checks, and they're not worrying about the small little tiny checks. And I think that Vegas has become a big city where it used to be a small town. And I think that's the thing. And it's too bad. I'm sad about it. Jen says the simplest thing: I want a good table and good dealers, not stupid. But the balancing this aside, I want a good table and good dealers, right? I want to feel like when I'm at the table, the dealer wants me there. I want to feel like when I'm at the table, the dealer, and we had this one time last time. Hey, what's your name? I'm John. Oh, cool. Nice to meet you, John. I'm from Vancouver. Where are you from? I'm from Seattle. That's awesome. And we're talking, right? I want my table experience to be an experience and fun and engaging, not just me going, for fuck's sake, here's my I'm buying in and the dealers aren't talking and the mood sucks and I just lose my stack. I'd rather pass out my money and lose it all and have a good old time doing it, right? I want my experience there to not suck. So yeah, good tables, right? Fair odds, great deal. That's what I want. That's what I want from Vegas. I want that to come back, right? My local casinos offer me that. Some of the Indian casinos in Seattle offer me that. They actually care that you're there, even though they're there to take your money. The experience doesn't suck. When I go back to talk about the bridge stuff, right? The bridge stuff is not about making you more money. It's about improving your experience while you're losing your money, right? It's about understanding what's happening to you, right? I think that casinos could do the same thing. They could actually engage and immerse you in their soul. In their soul. That's what I want. You're right. That's what I said earlier, Jen. The whales are funding everything. The little guys pay for the carpets, right? To be vacuumed. That's what we're doing. I think if that's what's happening, then the accounting is wrong. And what I mean by that is this. If they have flipped the script so much, right, that the little guys now are just paying for the basics and the big guys are paying the profits, eventually you run out of big guys, right? This is the whole problem with socialism. Eventually, the big guys go away and you lose all their money. Right? They go somewhere else, and where'd the money go? Well, they went with the big guys. Now all I have is small fish, right? There's got to be a mix. You've got to be enticing to both, right? And you can't have part of town be completely crazy and nuts and where people just don't want to go, right? For different reasons. And I think that's the thing, right? Don't talk to Jim. I know. There should be a muzzle on John when he's next to you for sure. As long as you keep giving me my dollars to pay the VIGs, I'll keep them. I promise. Mouth shut, Jen. I promise you that. Each casino can't do it all. It's a skill. Each casino needs a niche that specializes in 2 or 3 of my topics. Everybody wins. You can go from casino to casino depending on what you want. I agree with that. Right? If you're sports focused, come to John. If you enjoy that live creator experience and you want to be part of things, right? Like, come to Casino John. That's what it's going to be about. I'm doing it. I'm going to find a way to make $100 million and open a casino because I want to be part of the change. I wish I could do that. Yeah. Remember we had to save all year for your Vegas trip, right? Come on, broke. And couldn't wait to go back because exactly that was me and Kathy. We went to Atlantic City every weekend. And Atlantic City, by the way, back then had a little bit of soul. When it first opened up, you still had the piers. The boardwalk was still a thing. I remember in the 90s, in the 80s, Atlantic City had multiple piers, right? They had rides and amusements on them. The boardwalk had ice cream and cotton candy and the little, whatever, the carnival games for the kids. We used to go with my parents. We'd walk from casino to casino on the boardwalk. They would buy us Coke and ice cream and take us on the rides or whatever, go back into the casino, and they would go from the Golden Nugget to Trump Castle or Trump, whatever the Trump was on the boardwalk, and they would play. And we would have fun in the casino. Now, Atlantic City is fucking dump, right? It's Atlantic City's kind of a shithole. It is. And you don't want to walk between the casinos anymore. And the casinos themselves are soulless. There's barely paint on the walls. It's just like literally 4 walls and a bunch of money suck, right? That's all that it is. Vegas, I fear, will turn into that. The way that it's going, again, high end, so it won't be shitty walls and bad carpet, but it'll be the vibe, the energy will be gone. I want the energy back. And that's kind of what I'm bitching about today. So it's just been on my heart to say it, and that's it. Now it's all t-shirt shops with inappropriate shit and crappy stores. It's horrible. It's horrible. Dr. S wants go-go girls. There you go. Rosie in 5 minutes. Thank you for the reminder, Jen. All right. I will wrap the show. I think Vegas can be saved. I think it's going to take a couple of people with some money and the balls to say, I want the experience to the soul to return, to start from the inside, blowing some of this stuff out. That's what I think can possibly happen. But it's going to take us as a community of gamblers, as a players union, so to speak, to kind of force the issue a little bit. And it's going to take a couple of casino owners with some balls to kind of go after the quote unquote establishment. When you have Caesars on one side and MGM on the other side, and the whole strip is owned by two major corporations that have found the formula for them, that sucks the soul out of a town. Let's get it back. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I will leave you before I go with two things, right? One is quote of the day. And again, we'll keep doing this for you. That this week's quote is the Super Mario effect, which says, practice and perfect, not stress and regret. Practice like you play like you practice, as Ed say. I say, practice not until you get it right. Practice so you can't get it wrong, right? That is the difference between having Super Mario Brothers on your Nintendo at home, where you can practice until you're fucking perfect at it, versus having it where you're paying $0.25 to play and you're playing under stress and regret when you die, right? Those players never got good at Mario because they were so scared to try anything. They just barely made it to the end, so their quarter lasted longer. Those of us at home, I can play Mario with my eyes closed now. I'm so good at it. You should practice your gambling that way. Practice your work skills that way. Practice your life skills that way. Super Mario Effect is an amazing thing. You give yourself a chance to practice without pain over and over and over again. So when you do it for real, you're ready for it. Practice consistently. And with that said, I'll leave you with the final note of the Craps to the Cure 2025 raffle. There's absinthe tickets. There are Axis Power Craps tickets for Heavy Seminar. And of course, there are Gargoyles table felts. $50 for a ticket. We have these things on reserve. Get in there, craptothecure.com, hit the raffles link at the very top. Go buy a ticket. Buy a ticket every day. $50. Come on, you're going to spend $50. You're going to go 66 inside, buy a raffle ticket, right? It goes to the pups. We love y'all. God bless everybody. Wish Rosie luck today, and I'm off to the vet. Love y'all. God bless. Thanks for hearing me rant, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.